to say that most of our board members are Black and brown people as well. And, to also show you have those who are from the community, people who are successful that are giving back, and also my predecessors who came before me, who are both women, African American women. I was able to learn from them to already have had women leadership in this role. But the fact that they trust me, and most people would not have done that, especially for someone younger to say, I'm going to pass the torch and I'm going to give you a chance and I believe in what you can do. So that's why it's important when you have people like you in power, tap somebody else on the shoulder and give them an opportunity.
Welcome to another episode of Justice and Power Podcast. We speak the truth and nothing but the truth. Today, I have with me a special guest, Crystal Orr, who is the CEO and Executive Director of the Urban League out in New Jersey. We are excited to have you today, Crystal. Take a moment and introduce yourself to the people.
Sure. So first, thank you so much for having me on. As you mentioned, my name is Crystal Orr. I'm the president and CEO of the Urban League of Union County, which is located in New Jersey. So for the urban leagues in New Jersey, we go by county, and Union County, that means we serve over 21 cities and we support the residents in all of those cities.
That sounds amazing. Now, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get to this place where you are now the CEO of one of the Urban League chapters in New Jersey?
Sure. So I like to always say I was an Urban League kid. My mom worked at Urban League when she was in college. She was a board of director when I was born, when I was young, and she was always active in the community. So naturally, I'm with my mom, I'm always around. So I'm active as well. So when Urban League used to have Black History Month programs or any events, I was either attending or participating in them. And then when I went to college, went to University of Pittsburgh, I was first introduced to the Urban League Young Professionals in Pittsburgh. And so I came home and I was like, I think we need to have something like this in New Jersey. Like, when people are coming home from school, it's a way to connect, it's a way to network. We want to give back and serve our community, but we also want to socialize. You want to be with like minded people. And so that's how our young professionals was birthed in New Jersey. And Urban League Young Professionals is also on a national level. We essentially support the Urban League affiliates and what they're doing, and it's for ages 21 through 40. So it's a volunteer auxiliary. So I was one of the founding members, and I was a part of that for about 10 years, just as a volunteer. I still have my career. I was a business major in school, so I started out, worked in sports. I then went to technology. I received my MBA from Rutgers University, worked a little bit with like project management. And so when the prior CEO was ready to retire, she tapped on my shoulder and she said, I think you'll be great for this opportunity. And I'm like, you sure? I don't know. And she's like, yes, we need someone young. We need someone with your energy. And I think you can do it. So that tap on the shoulder and support from the board allowed me to step into this role as interim. And I was an interim CEO for a year. And then I went through the process, certified through National Urban League, voted by the board, and became permanent at the end of 2022. So I've been in this role now, like I said, a little over a year.
That's amazing. So you hopped into that role right in the midst of the pandemic where people
Yes.
trying to find their way and figure things out. You step into an incredible leadership position.
Yeah.
How was that transition for you?
For me, the transition, I was also transitioning in my career. So it was actually perfect timing as I was really trying to figure out passion meets purpose. And this just worked. I was like, okay, what do I want to do next? What is really something that's passionate for me? So I was already thinking CSR, I was thinking going that route, but staying in corporate America. I wasn't thinking nonprofit. And then coming into it, I'm like, okay, I understand the Urban League and what we do, but now I fully am getting into our day to day and our programs and services. And it really revigorated me in a sense to say, okay, what can I do to help enhance what we're already doing and also to build awareness around the programs and what we're doing so people know what this is about. And the pandemic, the team was already here. My program staff was doing the work. And I like to say that we were not first responders, but we were like first social responders in a sense. And
Mhm.
so we have a reentry program here with our urban league. And so we service people who were formerly incarcerated, parole, probation, any type of charge. During the pandemic, we couldn't say get on Zoom, you know,
Mhm.
join us virtually. So we had to meet them in person. I should say the team prior, they had to meet them in person. So we had to open up another office. We had to social distance within 2 to 3 months after the pandemic hit and we were allowed to open up again. So we had to still service clients. We had to switch virtually to service our housing clients who needed rental assistance or mortgage assistance. So my team hasn't stopped. They haven't really gotten a break since the pandemic. So when I came in, um, we're still dealing with the pandemic, but now it was okay, how do we integrate back in from this like hybrid mode and getting people to come back in person and how can we expand our services because now people really need the help, especially in New Jersey. So for instance, the end of 2021 is when New Jersey lifted their eviction moratorium. So
So
for almost 2 years, you could not get evicted in New Jersey, and then that ended. So we had to then help people who were facing eviction, and we partnered with the Urban League of Essex County, which is one of the larger cities, Newark, New Jersey, and for an eviction prevention program that the state was doing. And so we had to pivot and start helping people to not get evicted since the moratorium was lifted. So it's been a lot of things we've had to adjust and change once I came in.
wow, it sounds like you did a lot of heavy lifting and helped to re-energize and encourage your team because of
Yes.
all of the people that they were servicing and all of the needs that people had during that period of time.
Yes.
That is phenomenal.
A lot of people think about just during the pandemic, how people were impacted, but we're now dealing with post COVID life, right? And what does that look like for people? And also in North Jersey, it is very expensive to live here. It is not, if you're like in the South, you might be able to get an apartment, nice area, maybe 1 bedroom, $1,200, 1,300, if that. 2 bedrooms, 1,500. In North Jersey, we're close to New York, so they're building new luxury apartments every day, and the average two-bedroom is going to be easily over $2,500, and you're
Wow.
dealing with people who need maybe 3 or 4 bedrooms because they have full families.
Mhm.
So now you're talking 3,000 plus, but they can't afford $3,000 on a low income. So there are just so many variables as to why people are even dealing with housing issues and facing eviction. And the more is the housing that's being built is not for people who are low to moderate income right now. So that's another issue that we're dealing with here.
What do you see as a solution? How do you all help people navigate an environment where there are fewer rental properties, or so it seems, and especially fewer affordable rental properties?
So right now, first, we're just trying to save people so they can stay in their homes because what we're also seeing is that it's easier for a landlord to evict you and then they can raise the rent. They don't have to keep the rent the same. And so, like, first, we're trying to essentially, I hate to say it like this, but put a band aid on the situation, at least to keep you in your home because now that you're out, it's really going to be hard to find somewhere else to go.
Mhm.
And so, that's one aspect of it where it's like, okay, let's try to keep you here. Then now we're looking at the ones who are coming back. Maybe we helped them at the beginning of last year and now they're back again. What can we do? So I literally left a meeting where we're partnering with the County of Union to start a financial opportunity center. And through that
Mm.
FOC, that we're going to provide the financial coaching. So now they can get that one-on-one to see, okay, what's your budget? You know, we do our housing counselors do that now. They go through the budget to see what they can really afford. But now, once we see what's your budget, are you saving? What's your credit like? How can we create a plan? But because we're partnering with the American Job Resource Center, we can also send you there to say, okay, how can we help you get a better job so you
Mm,
can actually afford to live in this county and in this area? So that's one way we're trying to help. Another way, as I mentioned, we have a reentry program. And so we partnered with the Department of Corrections in New Jersey for a new pilot initiative that helps us assist people on parole. So with that program, we actually have funds to help pay for their security and their first month's rent. So then we at least can help that population to not be homeless or live in a shelter by getting them into an apartment. Now we talk about the reentry population. That's a whole nother barrier of whether landlords, even want to take a chance to give them a place to live and opportunity. But when we can get that, they can get in, we can at least help them pay for it while they're looking for a job or while they're starting their first job, and they can at least get, have stability. I'm realizing in this role, stability is key. Having a place to live can literally just release so much and give you peace.
yes.
And when people don't have a place to live, when they are not stable, now you're looking at people doing things. It might lead to illegal activities. It might lead to mental breakdowns, or you're working so much, you're not really with your kids. And
Mm.
so housing stability is so key here. And I'm on different committees and we talk about affordability all the time to figure out what can we do? Who can develop to help with this? Like, what are some remedies? And, there's really not an answer yet, but we are working towards it.
That sounds phenomenal. I'm just so proud of you being a new CEO and taking on these challenges and using your own experience, your empathy that you have as a Black woman in the
Mhm,
community, but also your education. Because as you started out talking about getting your MBA, how
mhm.
do you feel that having that additional degree has impacted your work and the way that you think about problem solving?
I would say that when you mentioned problem solving with MBA, with most courses, you look at case studies, right? It's all about how do you think about the case study, also working with teams. That's all we did. We worked in groups all the time. So you're
Mhm.
learning how to delegate, you're learning how to work in team, you're learning how to manage personalities. Also, just interacting with great professors, learning from them. One of the classes I loved was like it was a business econ class, but we talked about all the different theories and it was really like history. And I learned that a lot of the people that we admire or from the past who made a lot of money, they were historians. They understood patterns, they understood what happened before during history. And so they were using that as they were building their empire. Also, when you go to B school, you meet a lot of people, it's your classmates, your peers that you can stay connected to. That's why a lot of people want to get into like the Ivy League schools because it's those connections, but also opportunities. So like I had an opportunity to meet Warren Buffett when I was at Rutgers and they took us on, he would always bring some college students, grad students to his annual to meet with him. So it was a few of us schools and I got a chance to meet with him. So, going to Rutgers for my master's definitely opened up different opportunities for me. But also as a Black woman, I know we always think, "Oh, it's the paper," but that paper, it validates you in some settings, it more so makes them have to look at you where they can't count you out. So,
Mhm.
and let's say I did have my MBA, that does not make me any less, that does not mean I'm not smart enough, but that could be a barrier that is used to say, well, we're looking for candidates who have a master's or higher or, a graduate degree." But now because I have that, you can't count me out. You can't at least say that's one of the reasons why you can't look at me or hire me. So that's also a key point as a Black woman.
That is wonderful. I'm all about education when it makes sense for people, when they can afford to go to college or get their graduate degree. I have
Yes.
definitely seen doors open,
Mhm.
for people having that additional credential, and the sad part is that you can be a white man who
Mhm.
part, who sounds apart, who has no letters behind his name, and he's able to be taken seriously right out the gate. Like, that infuriates
Yes.
when I
Yes.
see that happen.
And so that's important. So again, it removes barriers, right? It removes you from trying to say you can't be a part of it. But like you said, our counterparts, they may not have as much issues. And also the respect in it. I am very aware that I am young in this role. And sometimes people like to bring that up. And not always in a condescending way. I think a lot of times it's shock. Where it's like, you're the CEO? Oh, you're leading it. It's more of a shock factor, whereas other people, even if they're a male or, other races, they may not be looked at that way. It's okay for them to be young and to be leading an organization or a company. But sometimes for us as a woman, as a Black person, it's not always acceptable or always looked at that way. So, that's another thing of navigating. Again, most people have been really receptive, but I do get those comments like, "Oh, wow, you're young."
Right. And I can tell you, Crystal, I'm 46 years old. I still will have people call me young lady. Like, at this point, I just say thank you and keep it moving, like, regardless
Mhm,
of what they mean by it, in terms of sometimes, like, putting you in your place or questioning, your ability or
mm.
your wisdom. At this point, I just take it as a compliment. I'm like, "You'll see this young lady on the other side of whatever battle we have going on," and
Mhm.
I keep it moving. Now, how has being a young CEO influenced your leadership and decision making? Do you find that you're bringing fresh ideas to the table or different ways of doing things because of being a millennial?
Yes, definitely. So, as millennials, we grew up in the technology era. Literally, I remember all the social media happening starting from when I was like in middle school. And, with Black Planet, then you go to MySpace in high school and Facebook and Instagram. So we've lived through that. So my first initiative and also having a marketing background, like, okay, what is our brand awareness right now? Right.
Mhm.
Like, so I came in and I'm like, we're going to revamp the website. We're going to build a new website that's a little bit more user friendly. And even now, it's still not even up to par of where I want it, but it was a start. We're going
Mhm.
to increase our brand awareness on social media. So I created a LinkedIn page for us because we didn't have one. I just made sure we posted more on social media. So we've added more followers. We have more visibility now with Instagram and Facebook. And I'm right now bringing in marketing interns because I want to get on TikTok. And use that as well as a way to share information, let people know what we're doing because TikTok is a lot of hits. People go on there now. People are like, I don't Google, I TikTok. And it's true, even for me, when I'm looking for restaurants, if I'm going to another city, brunch spots, I go on TikTok because it's easier to find it, look at the reviews, and bring it up. So that's one
That's a
thing that,
good pro tip from a millennial.
yeah,
Start doing a TikTok because people in my generation, we still on Facebook, or LinkedIn half the time. And they
yes.
coming out with new apps. I'm like, I don't know. I know Facebook. I know. But we need young people's energy, right? To wake us up, to show us new ways of doing things and to not be afraid. So I love that you're branching, getting us to spread our wings a little bit and say, hey, check out TikTok. You're missing out on information, opportunities, new ways of looking at things. So that's a wonderful pro tip.
Yes, and so I wanna get us on there as a as an organization, to let people know, "Hey, you can get these services here. These are the events that we're doing." And also that visibility in the community. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and that's where our organization, that's where our headquarters is. And so, because it's the county seat. So I'm from here, born and raised. So I know the people. My family is very connected. Everybody knows my parents. And so I also have a respect level from people here as well, where they're like, I'm one of their own. They see me, they trust me. So they'll make those referrals. They'll come to us, they'll call us now. And I wanted to make sure Urban League was visible again. So we would attend all the wellness fairs, the community resource fairs, but we also hosted our own events. We had virtual financial literacy. We did vaccine pop-up shops here. I did a back to school event. We had Black History History Month programs last year. So even with a small staff and some few interns and some of our young professionals and volunteers, we're making things happen. So even this year, right now, we're in the midst of Black History Month. We have 5 events through the month, and we partnerships. That's also what I realized. I'm like, I know way too many people. I'm going to leverage that. So I
Yes.
partner with churches, with other organizations, with the cities, with the county. Partnerships. This is how we're going to build up what we're doing because we don't have the capacity to do it by ourselves. And so that's something else I brought in and like, okay, let's do this. And because of that, my staff, they feel energized. They're like, okay, we see your vision. We believe in what you can do. We've seen what you can do so far. And, also creating a family like environment. I always think about when I was at other companies, what did I want? What did
Mhm.
I miss? What was like, I don't like this, and what was, I like this. And so I think about that when I'm incorporated what I was going to do here. Just even something as simple as when we have team lunches, team meetings, get lunch. I get lunch for everybody. Let's
Mhm.
let's all eat together. Let's all be here together. And that goes a long way for people, and especially at a nonprofit. I think we need
Mhm.
to caveat that we are not a big corporation. We do not have big budgets, so everyone does not have large salaries. So you have to do other things to make people feel wanted and included and want to be here. And we also have tough jobs. We deal with people's trauma. I don't think they understand that people understand when you are providing social services essentially. So, and we're dealing with people who are losing their homes or losing their apartments, trying to stay in their apartments. That's trauma. When you're
Mhm.
trying to figure out how can I pay for rent? What am I going to do? We're also dealing with people who are in jail, who are in prison.
Mhm.
Some of our clients have serious crimes. They were in prison for 20, 30 years. So they're coming out to a brand new world. Like completely new technology and all of these things going on, and we're trying to help them to get back into society, not including whatever trauma they face that even led them to getting into prison.
Mhm.
So my staff they're hearing this. We have people calling, crying. I'm living in my car. I don't know what to do. I have this going on. So we're dealing with that too. So it's not easy. So I'm like, how can I create an environment that people want to be here? They want to help, they want to stay. So that's what I've been focusing on as well. And bring in my college interns, and even though I'm young, they're younger than me, so I feed off of their energy and their ideas and what they're doing as well.
I love that. I love your leadership style and your enthusiasm just flows through, as you're talking about what you're bringing to the table, that new energy that you're infusing into the organization and helping staff to not only see your vision, but to buy into your vision. So, if
Mhm.
you had to give people an elevator pitch about the Urban League, who they are, what they do, especially because there's generational gaps, right? Like old school Black folks, they know the Urban League,
Yes.
right? People in my generation, we know the Urban League to some degree,
Mhm.
but the newer generations, they're like, the who, the what?
Mhm.
So how would you explain what the Urban League is, what it does, and anything else that you want to share about the organization?
Sure. So I always start with when I talk to kids or anyone, I always say, "Do you know what National Urban League is?" Right. So first I always start there because we are an affiliate and extension of them. So I would like to say the National Urban League, which is currently ran by Mark Muriel, who's the president and CEO. It was founded over 100 years ago to help Black people who were migrating from the South to the North during the Great Migration. And so at that point, we were trying to help them to get housing, jobs, for education, opportunities, to make sure civil rights. So we were advocates as well. And I like to say to this day, we are doing the same thing, which can seem, pro or con, that the fact that we're still fighting for the same things, but we're here for you. So that was actually one of our slogans, that the Urban League fights for you. And so we're doing that now, and there's over 90 affiliates across the country. And we all serve our communities, which are the Black and Brown communities in the United States. We are still helping them to make sure that they have fair housing, that they have jobs opportunities, that they have education, health and wellness, financial literacy, equity. We want to have equity, and we still are advocates. We still fight for civil rights. You're always going to hear us talk about voting. We're always going to talk about opportunities. We are also helping to build Black entrepreneurs on a national level with the Urban League. And then each individual affiliate has their own niche and focus. So at ours, at the Urban League of Union County, we've been here since 1944. So we've been serving Union County residents, again, across 21 cities for over almost 80 years. And right now, our main focus is we help with housing. So we have housing counseling. We help you with mortgage assistance, rental assistance, utilities, sometimes security deposits. Right now, we have the eviction prevention program for New Jersey, but we also have a first-time home buyers program because we are HUD certified. So over last year, we had over 100 people attend our first-time home buyers workshops, and it's an 8-hour class that you can get a certificate and take that to your bank or whoever your financial lender is to qualify for their first time home buyer class. So we are helping people to set a foundation and to start to build their wealth and their assets as well, and also hosting financial literacy workshops. We also have our reentry program called Reconnections, where we help people who were formerly incarcerated to reconnect back to society. So we help them with housing, jobs, education, referrals to mental health, substance abuse treatment. We also help with transportation, IDs. Something as small as bus tickets and bus passes just for them to get to the first 2 weeks of work goes a long way. We even help them to have the right outfits for work. We bought boots, we bought nursing outfits, whatever they need, so they
Wow.
can stay there and get started. So we do a full gamut, but one thing that's really big is the employment and expungement, helping them clear their records and helping them to get jobs. And historically, our Urban League was always known for employment. I talk to people who say over 40 years ago, Urban League helped them get their first job or was their first job. So I want to bring that back to make sure we are developing our workforce program again so we can help people get jobs. We can help youth get those opportunities. We can train them. We can connect them to the right places. They can get their GED, their trade, CDLs, whatever they need. And we're doing that now, especially with our reentry program. But we also are still a civil rights group. We still are about education and culture. So we have events to celebrate our Black pride and our history as well. So with Urban League, there's multifaceted, it's multi-layered. We're going to provide you with the social service programs. We're going to help you if you need to get a house, if you need to start a business. We're going to help you turn your life around, but we're also going to empower you. That's what empower communities and change lives. You can volunteer with us. You could be a young professional. You could be a guilds member. There are so many ways that you can support the Urban League because we are here to support you.
Wow, that was an incredible elevator pitch. Seriously, anyone listening to this show, listening to your voice, your enthusiasm, you've run down the gamut of the offerings that you all are bringing to the table. I don't know how anyone can listen and not be enthused, by the difference that you all are making. Because
Hmm.
sometimes people can become cynical, right? Especially if we're still talking about some of the issues from the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s that are unresolved. People
Hmm.
become cynical and feel like, well, what's really changed? How can we make a difference? What can we do? Well, you're proving that change is here, that change is happening, and that anyone can be a catalyst for change if that's what they decide to do.
Yes.
Rather than sitting back and, feeling discouraged. You're like, no, I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm going in there. I'm bringing all of me to the table for my people.
Yes.
I
And that's
love
what I
that.
do every day. And I think to see immediate impact is something that is very satisfying. And it's just, it makes me feel like, okay, we could do this. Even on days, like I said before this, we're working on a grant right now. We got different things
Mhm.
going on, but I see immediate impact. I see people saying, Urban League helped me, Urban League saved me. We're getting those people jobs and, or putting them in housing, and, a family was burned out by a fire, and we were able to rehouse them, or
Mhm.
we do an angel tree during Christmas for our clients where we can get them gifts. And we had a partnership with Target, one of the local stores, and they allow us to pick clients' families, and they basically go on a shopping spree for them. Like, those are things
Wow.
that people need. And even our young professionals, they do a business clothing drive every year. They
Mm,
just did one. And so we set up a free pop-up shop, and they can come people could come in like a store, but it's free, and you can at least get your clothes and be
mm,
prepared for your interviews or your work, whatever you need for work. So because sometimes people, they may start a job but they don't have it, so they don't feel the part, they don't feel up to par of how they look. So it's no excuse. You come to the Urban League Union County and get you a suit, you get you a nice outfit, we got shoes, we got everything, right? If you need it, we're
wow.
here for you. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a beacon of hope, of inspiration, provide resources, and to help you to really rise up. Like, I want my community to feel empowered in every way and know there's hope and there's ways to get out of whatever you're in, and allow us to be a vessel to help you if we can. And so that's why I'm looking to grow, expand our services, and to really be a staple in our community again, because the Urban League has always been here for people, and I want them to know we are still here for you.
Mhm. Well, to that end, as you think about this year, right? We're already in February.
I know.
Even though, it feels like we just got here, this year is moving by quickly. So if
Yes.
you think about the next, let's say 1 to 3 years, what are some key initiatives that you would like to bring forward? Let's say if you have the resources to do so, if you're queen of the day, queen of New Jersey, what would you do to take things to the next level for your community?
So, first, I would say, and what I'm actually working on now, mental health, right? Having mental health services, I would love to have our own clinician here on site, licensed social worker on site. We have our counselors and case managers, but someone that can help when the issues are beyond our control. Right now, we do a lot of referrals. We do have local hospitals and centers that we send people to, but to really have something in house where we can immediately, when clients are here, we can have them talk to them, and then they can give the referrals or guide them, create some type of plan. That's really important. So, mental health, wellness, as well. I think especially for our reentry clients when they're coming out of prison, the internal is not always that great. They need treatment. So we do partner with some local organizations, and that can give them medical treatment and help them for free. So that's always a plus. But to really focus on mental health and wellness would be one. Two, as I mentioned, we're going to expand with our workforce development, because we, for years, Urban always had like a summer youth employment program. We always just partnered with local companies to give job opportunities. So we do that now on a small level, but I want to make it bigger, because I get people send me jobs all the time. They're like, "You had know someone that's looking," or "Here's a training opportunity. Here's this," and I want to formalize that. Three, of course, youth programs. I'm actually working on that now as well, focusing on, we're going to start a youth entrepreneurship program. I'm now partnering with another organization to do. So we're going to start that this spring and really expand upon that. In STEM, I'm working with a company now for STEM events, and we're
That's
going to,
science, technology,
yes,
engineering, and
engineering,
math for those who
mathematics.
may not know.
Oh, yes, definitely. So we're working on like a challenge about, it's called You Be a Chemist with BASF. And so we're working on that right now, to start it soon for next year. And I'm working with other companies around the area as well to see how we can really get kids into STEM and just get their minds focused on that. So as I mentioned, mental health, workforce, youth initiatives. And, there's ultimately, really within the next couple of years, I want our urban league to have our own building. Some other urban leagues around the country, they're much bigger. They have buildings, they even own property like apartment buildings and things like that. And so I just want us to first have our own building that can really be a community refuge. It can be a place where other people can come. They can host meetings, workshops, events. We have our own little computer lab. We have, our own space for people to come and be a safe haven for us. So that is my ultimate goal, that we get our building and that we can really fully do everything that we need to do. So those are like three of my focus areas, as well expanding upon what we are currently doing with our services and continue to host events. We this month we did a Black Business Expo with Shiloh Baptist in Plainfield. We're doing a college fair at the end of the month in City Hillside, New Jersey. We're partnering with the Public Library Union. We are also doing an event in the city of Elizabeth at the end of this month to just highlight. It's called Voices of the Ancestors, and we're working with like the NAACP, another local organization, ePort Press. I'm on a board for a group called 313 Project, and so we're working with them as well. And just to show the community the unity and the pride, Urban League works with NAACP. We all work together, so we're doing that at the end of this month. So we have a lot in motion and a lot of things that we are supporting right now to just show the unity and uplifting of the Black people in our area across Union County and just in the state of New Jersey.
Mhm. Well, I hope that you get more opportunities to speak, Crystal, and to share your message. It's clear that you're a visionary leader and you're just pushing past any perceived barriers, anyone trying to stop you, or you're like, nope, this is what it is. This is
Yeah,
what I'm gonna do, and I'm willing to roll up my sleeves, and lock arms with the people who are willing to do the work on behalf of our community. So I just
yes.
applaud you, for your
Thank you.
for your leadership, for your vision, for your tenacity. That's what we need. That's what we need infused into the culture in 2023 and beyond. So it's just wonderful to hear everything that you shared today. And I know that you're going to be successful at everything you put your hand to and put your mind to. Like
Thank
that's
you.
exciting.
I appreciate it. And I just want to also say just a really big shout out to my board as well. That, as nonprofits, we need our board members to keep going to sustain. We brought on new, I was able to help bring on new board members last year who have really come in, hit the ground running, whether it's their support, financial support, gather, their resources. So our board definitely has been supportive. And you need a supportive board as a nonprofit to do what you need to do. And they give me the reins to have all these ideas and just kind of run with it. So definitely thankful for having a supportive board. And, proud to say that most of our board members are Black and brown people as well. And, to also show you have those who are from the community, people who are successful, that are giving back, who are in high positions and leadership roles. And so that's good to see as well. This everyone coming together in this leadership that we have. And also my prior CEOs,
Your
that
predecessor.
my predecessors, who came before me, who are both women, African American women, and they've been running our urban league collectively for over 40 years. And so I'm able to learn from them, to already have had women leadership in this role. But the fact that they trust me, and again, just that tap on the shoulder to say, hey, I think you can do this. And most people would not have done that, especially for someone younger to say, I'm going to pass the torch and I'm going to give you a chance and I believe in what you can do. So that's why it's important when you have people like you in power, and they give you an opportunity. So as a takeaway for people who are in leadership positions, tap somebody else on the shoulder and give them an opportunity and let them flourish, or work with them, groom them so they can flourish. Don't take it as a threat. Don't take it as, someone else is coming in, but really take it as a partnership. And so you can be proud of, what has happened. And so my predecessor, Ms. Donna Lowe Alexander, she always says to me, she's like, I'm so proud of you. And she's like, I know you get sick of me saying it, but I'm so proud of you. Right. And for her,
I
it's
got
like,
chills. Said that. I could feel that.
yes, because she's just like, look what she always say, like, look what I did. Basically, like,
Right.
I picked her. That's my pick. So it's like when people say, oh, she's doing well, or I see her, or she just spoke here. She smashed like I picks her, like, but that's how we should be. We should be passing the torch. And that's a whole nother subject for all of us in our community, but we have to pass the torch at some point. And I even understand that now of how can I help to groom the next leaders and
Yes.
my interns who come in. I hope they take away and learn from me when they're in here because we have to be able to do that. Otherwise, how are you going to learn how to run a corporation? How are you going to learn how to be a leader if someone doesn't take you under their wings or tap you on your shoulder and say, I see something in you. Come on, let's grow and work together.
Absolutely. And I think that we as Black women in particular, we definitely have that opportunity to pass the torch, to groom, the
Mhm.
next level of leadership and to encourage people who maybe don't know that they have it in them to know, look, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yes.
Right? I
Hmm.
made my mind up, I made a commitment, what I didn't know, I learned. I
Yep.
found a mentor, right? So I
Hmm.
think that that's the message that we should be sending to the next generation and particularly young women, because
Yes.
older Black women, we understand the challenges with the ceilings that people try. I'm like, no, that is no longer a ceiling. That should be the floor. It's time
Hmm.
to, keep going up to the next level and bring our people with us, and particularly other Black women. Because often our leadership style is to be more collaborative and to try to, help pull out people's gifts and talents and to help them shine. And I
Yeah.
think that's the recipe for success for Black women in particular, because we know the barriers, and most of the time, once we make up our minds, it's like we
Mhm.
can crush those barriers and do things that others did not think was possible. And I think you're a living example of that. For real,
Thank
like,
you.
you're just doing such an amazing job. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Seriously, I am so proud of you and everything
Thank
that
you.
you're doing and just the joy that you're spreading and the energy and your compassion and your commitment to our people. So I wanna
Mhm.
thank you for taking the time to be on Justice and Power podcast and inspiring us, uplifting us, and giving a living example of what it means to focus on our people and our community. Do you have any last words that you wanna share? And also, let people know how they can find you.
Yes, so you can find us on our website, www.uloucnj.org, Urban League of Union County, New Jersey.org. On social media, we are ULUCNJ on all platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that's how you can find us. We're on LinkedIn as well. If you type in Urban League of Union County, we have a page. So definitely you can contact us there. You can support us by becoming a member, a volunteer, or again, financially, if you want to donate and support what we're doing in the programs that we have. Our young professionals, they have a scholarship program as well. So you can support the scholarship program that we'll give out in the springtime and the other programs that we're currently running. If you want to partner with us, partnerships is important as well, whether you're a corporation and you want to financially partner or your employer and you want to partner with us so that we can fund, work together to send clients to you
Grants
um
making.
for
Right.
job opportunities. I think sometimes we always think everything has to be financial, but partnerships go a long way, whether that's doing a program together or, like I said, employer partners are really big for us because they give us opportunities. And so it's a win-win situation. So we are always here for that. And my last words would I would say, as I mentioned, there's over 90 affiliates for urban leagues across the country. So wherever you are, look into your urban league, see who's the closest urban league to you and try to support them. Whether again you become a member, you volunteer with them, whatever you can do, try to support your local urban league and what they're doing. Or if you need services support, go to your local urban league. A lot of people forget that that's an option. A lot of urban leagues provide rental assistance. A lot of them help with housing. A lot of them have job opportunities and different centers that you can go to. So utilize your urban league. Let your urban league work for you, but then you can also then give back to them. So that would be my last words.
Wonderful advice spoken from a true leader and a true champion for our people. Thank you for everything that you're doing, Crystal. We support you and we salute you, and happy Black History Month.
Thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing and for even giving me an opportunity to come on your show today. Thank you.
Absolutely.